welcome to you. My name's Dale and this is Dale's Addiction. Today I have an unexpected news report. I have been researching for another video that I'm preparing for about what you can get for your money at different intervals. And I was sharing this with my friends, the fellow Fendi Enablers chat group that I have spoken about a few times on this channel. There just so happened to be a vintage live sale on Instagram at the time that some of us were watching, and up popped a listing for a Chanel Diana bag, a vintage Chanel Diana bag for $18,000. $18,000. And I thought, okay, since when has a vintage Chanel bag been worth $18,000, especially that bag? I mean, I know it's popular, but it's not that popular. This was a medium size, not a small size. And so my friends and I did a little bit of research and we found that same bag. Well, not exactly the same bag, a bag of exactly the same condition and specifications for just over 12,000 Australian dollars. And we couldn't help but wonder how many people are buying what they perceive to be a bargain through these luxury resellers that source their products from Japan when you could be getting a much bigger bargain yourself. I put that video research to one side and we did a bit of a deep dive into some of the items that were listed versus what you could get them for if you bought them yourself. Whilst business is business and everyone's out there to make a dollar, these markups are insane. These markups can be from 150 to 300% up from the actual listing that you can purchase it for yourself. And so we discussed that I might make a video giving you the insight into how you can purchase great pre-loved and vintage pieces from Japan without paying the markup for a reseller who has sourced it for you. Still under retail, yes, because they're vintage pieces, but definitely way more than what you need to pay. So let me give you some examples if this one example of the Chanel Diana bag didn't kind of make your ears prick up. So there was a Fendi cloth mama baguette listed for $1,800 and we found a similar one selling for 537 Australian dollars. That's quite the significant markup, isn't it? We kept looking. We found the Gucci Marmont with like little lambs. It's a velvet Marmont selling for $2,800. And it should be around half that price, maybe even less, around $1,000 to $1,200 based on some listings that we found. There was a Bottega hobo bag in a beautiful pink colour listed for $1,900. We found a similar listing on 69,000 yen, which is about 772 Australian dollars. A fuzzy Gucci backpack listed for $2,400 for about $1,200. So, you know, I think the case is clear that there are many examples that you're not just paying for someone to source an item for you, you're paying a hell of a lot of money more than what you need to be paying if you're looking for pre-loved and vintage finds from Japan. Why do people want to source their pre-loved and vintage finds in Japan? Well, there's a perception out there that seems to be proven true over and over again. I'm not a vintage shopper, but I know many people here on YouTube that are, and also many people in my real life that are. And Japan has very strict laws in relation to counterfeit items. A lot of the items are in pretty good condition, but I wouldn't say pristine based on what I have seen. Now, there are lots of third parties that can help you to purchase items through Rakuten, and in Australia we have one called Buyee. I'll put the details in the description box below. But if you live in a country other than Australia, I'm sure that you can have a look for third-party providers as well that can help hook you up with Japanese Rakuten and listings that you might be interested in. Now, when you think about adding your postage, and if you're buying in Australia anyway, anything under $1,000, you won't have to pay duties, but you will have to pay like a customs handling fee of $88. But if it's over $1,000, you will need to pay up to 15% of duties, 5% customs, 10% GST, goods and services tax. So it is worth thinking about what that cost is on top of the base price that is listed. But you can see that there is still a significant difference, up to $6,000, like double the price basically, between some of these listings that are listed as bargains versus what you can pick them up for if you simply shop them yourself. Why am I sharing this information with you? Well, it's a community service. Times are tough in the luxury community, and people are being overcharged for items that don't have that value. Also, I would challenge the condition that they are listed in. At least if you're purchasing direct, you've got that third party to check that your item is in the condition that it was listed in before they send it on to you. You have that insurance. And I think that if you're a savvy shopper, you should trust yourself and seek it direct from the source, rather than paying more than 100% markup on some of these items that we know don't hold their value. But if you've got cash to burn and you're happy to just pay a price and have somebody else take care of the headaches, then more power to you. Good for you. But I think the majority of people, when you're buying pre-loved or vintage, you're actually looking for a deal, a bargain. You're looking for the original version of a product that may have been reinvented for today's market. All sorts of reasons that you might be interested in pre-loved and vintage. It's not normal to buy pre-loved or vintage with the motivation that you want to pay more than what you need to. So I hope that you've found this helpful. I'm not going to name the resellers and consigners that I'm aware of are doing this, but if you're in the market for vintage and pre-loved, you probably already know some of them. And if you don't, this is probably just a little wake-up call to do some of your own research so that you're in a position to be able to save some very valuable dollars in these gloomy economic times. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up if you have. Come back for more by subscribing and hitting the bell notification. I put out videos on Wednesdays and Sundays, and sometimes some extras. I would love to see you back here for the next one. Until then, ciao.